What's your plan for the day?
The usual. Hello?
Grandma!
Danny? You sound so strange.
I'm in jail.
Oh, my God.
Mail $10,000 to this address.
$10,000?
How did you think this was real?
Mom, you thought it was real too.
Oh my God. She was very convincing.
Well, she was scared, your mother. We were all scared.
I wasn't quite as scared, just for the record.
You gotta tell the police. They're no use.
They contact people at random using telephone listings and social networking sites.
Like Facebook?
Sure, by Facebook.
Well, shouldn't Zuckerberg be able to fix this? What about my money? Am I supposed to just let them have it?
I'm gonna get it back.
I need a ride.
My mother is at large.
Why are we stopping at malls?
To get a gun?
Do you even know how to use it?
How hard can it be? Idiots use them all the time.
God.
Things happen to people as they age. Weird, crazy things.
We're old, diminished. The least we can do is take care of each other.
She's a tough cookie.
When she sets her mind to something, there's no stopping her.
My grandson's parked a block away. I don't have much time.
You left your grandson in the car?
But he's 24. We all have our good days and our bad days.
And what's today?
We'll find out.
Grandma?
Hello?
No, sorry. I'm just looking for my grandma. Sorry. Boom, there you go. That was the trailer for Thelma, arriving in theaters on June 21st. It's your boy QP. This is Nerds Rule the World, and to talk all things June Squibb and Thelma is my pal, Heather Hurt. Heather, how are you?
Good.
Awesome. As we've said on the weekly show, or at least I've said, it's the summer of June Squibb.
It's the June of June Squibb.
You know what? That's a good one. I like that. It's the June of June Squibb. For those that don't know, June is playing the character or the emotion of nostalgia in Inside Out 2. And in this project, in her over 70-year career of acting, it's her first leading role. And so I just love that. That's just beautiful, brilliant, amazing. But we're going to talk all about this film real quick. Avoid spoilers as always, as best we can, or at least on my behalf. Heather's is a rock. She is a vault. She won't give it up. Me, I'm a spastic and I'm a film lover and I want to spread the joy. But anyway, I will try not to ruin it for you. Let's talk all things story and cast real quick, Heather, and then we'll get into this review. Story, Thelma, we showed you the trailer. Kind of says it all, to be honest. It is my nightmare come true as a person who has older parents that aren't the most technologically savvy, if you will. Technology savvy, yes. And actually what's crazy is like about a week ago as of this recording, my father actually called me with somebody had called out to him saying he's Amazon, and I think my dad actually gave him all of his account information and people were starting to buy stuff off of Amazon. But that's a whole nother story. But luckily my wife called, figured it all out. It didn't happen. But it's the stuff of nightmares. And that is this film as well. Old elders on the internet and giving up information because they think it could be a family member, a friend. So as you saw from the trailer, Fred Hechinger's character is June Squibb's grandson. She thinks it's him, but it's not. It's some scammer, and she gives up $10,000 of her hard-earned life savings, if you will, in a way, to this scammer, and isn't too happy about it. For obvious reasons, who likes to be scammed? So she reaches out to her daughter, who I think is the daughter. Yes, the daughter's Parker Posey. Her husband is Gregg, and the grandson, Fred Hechinger, to be like, hey, you know, this happened. And so they're aware, but let's let the cops handle it. You know, it's just money. You know, we'll move on. We'll come up out of that. But June Squibb ain't taking that. Nah, Thelma is not gonna take that in stride. She wants to get vengeance. She's figured things out. So she reaches out to a friend of hers, family friend. Both of their spouses have passed away. Excuse me. Played by Richard Roundtree, a good friend, because he has a mobile scooter, as you see from this poster right here, to get around. So she hatches a plan to take care of his scooter, but he's not letting her go off on her own because they've known each other for years. Let me help you with this. And they set off around the town to track down these bad guys. And I'm not going to give anything else away because that is the trailer. But that's also the cast. So I brought you through what we normally do. Our cast, the story, but also let me give a nod to the people behind the camera, because as a filmmaker myself, it takes a village. We all should know this by now. While we love our actors, we should also give love to the people behind the scenes. Director, writer on this is Josh Margolin. And then also a bevy of other amazing creative folks. So respect to the entire creative team there. Heather, we did a trailer react to this not too long ago, I think, as well. What were your thoughts heading into Thelma? And then we'll get into our review. And how familiar are you with June Squibb before all of this came about?
So to go to that first thing, if you want to hear my story about being impacted by the same thing, go watch our trailer react, because it's almost the exact same situation, except we caught it. So, but June Squibb, she's a legend, but it's one of those where it's like you said, she's kind of one of those secondary legends where she's done a lot of stuff with a lot of people, but she's never really put her voice out on its own. So it was fun to see her do stuff. I won't deny though, when I saw her as nostalgia, when I saw her on the pictures from one of our PR firms that we work with her just walking down the red carpet for Inside Out 2, I was just like, oh my God, what is she doing? Because you always feel like she's one of those background characters, just constantly a good name, but just a background character. And this really let her be a comedian that she's been for decades, on the sidelines, but up front.
Yes. So, again, shout out to June Squibb. You love to see it. Again, age shouldn't make a difference in regards to the characters you put up on the screen, film to lead films. I think there's a lot of films now. If you put an older person in that role, it could still be the same film, which is a very notable difference. I think a lot of creatives out there should know. And it also may enhance the story to a degree. So, what did you think of Thelma, Heather, and June and these characters? I had some notes that I gave you because I saw before you, and I'm curious where you kind of fell on the side of things.
Sure. To take a step back though, we can also write movies to be more well-rounded when it comes to age. We are seeing in action films. You can make action features with older action stars. They're not in their 80s, but we can create art around people's ages. We don't have to be age people, point blank.
Let's go.
But to say that, this movie was cute. And I think honestly, that's all I was really expecting. And to your point, that was something that you said, when you sent it to me, you're like, this is a sweet movie. And I could see that. I can agree. I think it was a cute movie. It was a fun movie. Were there times that it lagged? Absolutely. But I also think that most quality comedy films will have those lags because you can't always be laughing. You just can't always be laughing. So where there were moments that just really like flashed and made it really fun and goofy, and you felt Thelma's like plight through and through. But then there were other times where you're kind of like, I can do something else. I actually was baking cookies while watching this, and it was kind of the perfect background movie while I was baking cookies.
I feel that. Yeah. I think so. We both kind of feel very, very much the same about this film. It's a very sweet film. I think you get everything in the trailer, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's still, I'm still thankful that I got a chance to screen it, and that we have this again, because as we were saying earlier, we don't get a lot of people of this age front and center leading these type of films. And I think we should get away from that again. And to Heather's points, it all of that doesn't matter, and it can enhance in a lot of ways. In regards to your comment, Heather, in regards to like it lagging, I agree again, because I think that is due to the respect to the writer, but also it's on the writer. Because there's moments of just brilliance, and then it's a setup to the next scene that if you maybe revise the script a little bit, you could have just learned to take out certain points to where it doesn't need to have that lag to progress the story. It can progress in another fashion. Everything's important in regards to your script and flow. So even though, with that being said, it's a great film. It's an enjoyable film. It's a cute film. It's a sweet film, and I just love that because there's few and far between folks of this age leading roles like this. It's sad that this is taking so long for June Squibb to lead something like this, and also show her brilliance as an actor. Great character actor. We know her, but she hasn't had a role like this, and I feel that she could carry more films. It just all, to me, really is dependent on the script and getting that opportunity. How about you, Heather? And any particular moments that you really enjoyed? Any favorite moments?
One of my favorite moments was actually very early in the movie, but I want to go back to real quick. One thing that we didn't get in the trailer, which I absolutely love, Richard Roundtree's performance.
Oh, yes.
Was really great, and some of his moments were just like chef's kiss, like right on cue, like just perfect. And his performance, I love June Squibb. I love her. She played a great Thelma. But honestly, Roundtree kind of like when he was making comments, he would sometimes steal the show, and I'm like, okay. But when it comes to my favorite scene, one of the best scenes is, and not to go too far into what happens, but she is sitting on a bench, trying to contact friends for support, and half of them are dead. She's learning like over the phone that half of them are dead, and it's just her reaction. It's a moment of humanization. Of we need to stop dismissing the elderly. Because they're humans and they have friends and they have family and they're aging, and it's really hard for them to see it themselves, and then we are just then pushing them aside even more, so they feel very, 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 very isolated at that point, and that's just hard. But it was one of those moments where, even though they made it kind of funny, because it was supposed to be let's not make this the saddest moment in the movie. It was still a very, very enlightening moment where you're like, holy crap, I don't want to be that person when I'm older, where I'm sitting here just learning from random people that my best friends are dead. Nor do I think that she should be sitting alone on a bench learning this as well. Being there for support is so important, and I thought that was just an incredibly important moment, even though it was very close to the beginning. It was just a very, very important moment to see on film.
You know what? Yeah, that you just brought me back to that moment, Heather, in the film. I completely agree. I love that because we're younger folk, and while it's being played up for laughs, it could be. I'm an empath, Heather. I cry. You're making me think about that. Yeah, you can feel that because it's honestly it's life for as an elder adult, and then it could be heartbreaking when you come into that, when you forget, because again, memory is a thing, and then when you into that, like I'm feeling it now for a second, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's played for laughs, but there's also stuff that is great to see, which I love, having her being an elder adult performer in this. Like there's moments with a hearing aid and just like, wow, just like the performance. And it's also played to a service within the film as a story element that I thought was really good. So while I knocked the writing a little bit again for certain parts, but there's parts again that had brilliance. And that just is revision and working with a team. But yeah, a lot of great moments. You're right in Richard Roundtree. Amazing. It was kind of weird seeing him this old, to be honest. I don't think I've seen other films where him in, now kind of an actor at this age. And so it's refreshing. He still got it. Timing, like you said, just brilliant. I love the two of them together. And then there's a special moment at the end where they're kind of like helping each other. That was just like, my heart. But yeah, just that relationship, her and her grandson. Shout out to Fred Hechinger, Clark Gregg, Piker Posey, all did great. I think the cast was phenomenal. Malcolm McDowell, who you'll find to know in this film, again, a great cast. I think this is a cute film and has some great moments. Just there's some story elements that could have been cleaned up, would have made it stronger. But a great and fun ride, I think. Do you have any particular favorite characters within it?
I think Ben was probably my most favorite outside of Thelma. He just had that dynamic characterization that I really, really liked. So I think I'm gonna say Ben. Ben is my favorite.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it was a sweet film. I'm now like, I need to watch it again. When he reflects happily on something, I don't know about you, Heather. I'm like, you know what? I need to check it out again. I dug this film.
There is, y'all should make sure you subscribe, because I think that the conversation with The Exorcism, which I know is a very different movie, but there's going to be a lot of similarities, I think, with this conversation and that conversation. We'll go more into depth about the writing. So spoiler alert. But you can see where this is a streaming movie. I'm sorry. I strongly support good movies getting money, but this is unfortunately a streaming movie. Once again, I did it while I was making cookies. With that being said, there's a big difference between enjoying a movie besides its failures and not enjoying a movie because of it. I think that where this movie failed was minimalist compared to where it succeeded.
And thank you for that, Heather. I agree. Yeah, we Heather and I were talking recently of like, how we should promote films in regards to it's a support, because a lot of times these studios get the support because when it hits theaters, and we want people to hit the theaters to support these films. We want these production companies so we can get more of these films to get that money so that they can make these films. But I gotta agree with Heather. This is something you want to stream at home, and also because of material. And I think you want to see this with your grandma. It's probably difficult to get them out to the theater, so it kind of serves a good film to sit with them, especially if you're going to the home that they may be at, spending time with them. I think this would be a perfect movie for that. But just, yeah, I definitely would say it's not for everyone, but it is a sweet adventure. And we need Hollywood to realize the potential and the capability of their performers and story lines that they can do if they just give more opportunities like this film.
Mm-hmm.
So well said, Heather. I don't know if I can say any more because we've got other projects to talk about. So like Heather said, subscribe to the channel. There might be some comparisons to another film we're going to be talking about in a second. So there you go. Thelma arriving in theaters on June 21st. Go check it out, especially if you have that disposable income. But we still say see it, but maybe when you want to see it at home or visiting your grandma. So there you go. Heather Hurt, your boy Kuya P, nerds rule the world.